move into the issues committees, and then we will move into shared gov and general assembly. So those are just a variety of different components and aspects of the undergraduate student government as an organization. Also, if you just saw a notice on your screen that the meeting's being recorded, just go ahead and click that. We're recording the meetings to make sure that they're accessible to all students, even if they're not able to be at an info session. And then we'll also go over the application process and membership requirements, and then we will have a question and answer. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to, I'm pretty sure, Jacob to go over the USG overview.
Yeah, so for the first part, I'm gonna give a short self-introduction. My name is Jacob Chen. I use he, him pronouns, and I serve as Senior Director of Operations for USG this year. I'm gonna invite our Chief of Staff, Liz Webb, to join us. Liz, do you want to give a short self-introduction too?
Sure. Hi. Thanks, Jacob. My name is Liz Webb. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve as USG's Chief of Staff this year. I'm also fourth year studying public affairs. Thanks for coming tonight. It's great to meet you all.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you all so much for coming. So for the first, we're just gonna give like a rundown for USG's mission and our values. And our mission statement is that student government, which is USG, should dedicate itself to the betterment of higher education and student life. It should be accessible to all undergraduate students while being attentive to and a voice for all the undergraduate concerns. And this is just a statement about how we can thrive for this statement and achieve the goals here. We want to manifest and thrive for all our goals throughout our values. And we're gonna, our values this year, which was like nominated by our general members and leadership team, and essentially it was voted by our senior staff. They are collaboration, empowerment, equity, integrity, and service. And we were gonna give like clear explanation for it. Liz, do you want to start with the first one?
Sure. So collaboration in USG takes two different forms. First, we like to collaborate within our organization, collaborate with different committees and different people in the organization to make our projects as well-rounded as they can be. But one of the most important aspects of collaboration for USG is working with the student body, either with individual students or student organizations who are looking to advocate for their needs. As USG, we have a lot of access to different administrators and different groups on campus who sort of just run the university. So we want to use our privilege as USG to bring others along and collaborate with them on the projects that are near and dear to their heart and help to make the Buckeye experience better for them by collaborating.
And the next one is empowerment. So empowering means that like when we not only want to empower the members of our organization, make sure they feel like uplifted and their voice matters in our organization, they can advocate for like the policy change they wish to see, but also reach out to the student body and different communities of students, make sure they realize their own truths and the power within their own voices, and empower them to stand up to advocate for themselves and make the policy change and everything on campus they want to be embedded into their undergraduate education process and their experience at Ohio State. And the next word is equity. So like in order to make USG a more equitable organization, we want to start to acknowledge that how USG has been a perpetrator of like different systemic oppressions, and we has historically failed the student body, and how we can do better from owning our own mistakes and being able to identify ways to tackle on different issues throughout different action plans, and also like different action items to be able to improve our organizational culture and make sure our organization is inclusive for students from different communities.
Next, we have integrity. So I like to see integrity as doing the right thing, the right way, for the right reasons. And that's how we as USG want to see all of our members approach their work here. We want to affirm everybody's experience on campus and make sure that we are using our role as a member of student government to actually serve the student body and to not do it for ourselves. This isn't a resume builder. Our job here in USG is to lead with integrity and help our fellow students. And finally, that leads into our fifth value, service. So service is really important to USG because we are often seen as a service and advocacy organization on campus. So it's our job to uplift the work of others on campus and recognize that we are not the only service org here on campus. There are so many other students dedicated to bettering their experience on campus, and we want to be here to do whatever we can, provide any type of resources that we are able to others here on campus. And it's important to remember that with service, we want to be able to listen to the criticisms that are given to USG and given to Ohio State, and to try to do all that we can for others. And it's not to make us feel good at the end of the day, it's to know that other students on campus are having the best student experience they can because of work we may be able to help them with.
Yeah, and then before we move on, tonight we also have our student body president, Roya Hajazi, her joining us at our info session tonight. So she wants to give like you all some general ideas about some things we're working on and related with our values. Yeah, let's invite her to the stage.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is Roya Hijazi. Like Jacob said, I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the student body president of the undergraduate student government. And I'm so excited that you're all here today and that you've taken interest in joining our organization. Obviously, a lot of you are coming into our organization or even our school at a very difficult time, but for student government, this is a very busy time in which there's a lot of ways to continue to support students through navigating COVID and adjusting to new academic settings and really trying to fight a lot of the disparities that we see that are arising for students and communities across the nation. So we're really excited to have you and hopefully you can find a lot of interest from our directors and all of the projects that we're working on within our organization.
And for next, we're going to touch down a little bit of USG structure. So here is the work chart we made for our organization. It's really complicated because USG models from a democratic government. We have a legislative branch, which is our General Assembly. You can see at the left. And we have the executive branch, that's the part in the middle. And we have a judicial branch, that's the one at the right. So as we call it, this is a flipped pyramid chart. Because student body is always at the top, and as student government, we're here to serve the student body. That's why Roy and Caleb are president and vice president at the bottom. And this org chart can be found at the link later. I will share that in the chat with all of you. And if you have any question, feel free to ask us. And we're going to dive into a little bit for the executive branch. That's the branch you will be applying for. Yes. So here is the executive branch. Executive branch is composed by our 6 issue committees, our 2 operation committees, and our undergraduate caucus and the Black caucus. So all these, essentially, you'll be able to apply into our organization as committee representatives. And in the application form, you will be able to fill up your preference for like the committee/branch you want to join. And the one that's up for choice this time is our 6 issue committees and Black caucus. And next, we'll have our directors and chair of Black caucus to introduce like this issue committees and branch to all of you.
And now we're going to let some of our representatives from all of the branches and issues committees speak a little bit about the work they're doing right now, the work they've been doing in the past, and the work that they're planning on doing moving forward. So let's get started with academic affairs. And we have our director as a representative today. Let's bring him on. Hey, Shri.
Hello. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about academic affairs. So to go through the mission statement right quick, to improve the academic experience for all OSU undergraduate students and make the OSU academic experience more equitable through affordability, accessibility, and academic support. Quick introduction, because I forgot that. My name is Shri Uplapati. I'm a junior engineering physics major specializing in computer science and the academic affairs director. My pronouns are he, him, his. All right, back to the AA stuff. So in terms of projects and initiatives and the ways that we sort of really work the ideas of affordability, accessibility, and academic support through, a big one that we've been working on, sort of like a project that I worked very closely on last year, is Carmen Common Sense, which is providing resources for faculty to make Carmen pages more accessible and more readable for students to go through. And the idea here is that even though professors have access to Carmen, a lot of them don't use it well. And then we also work with textbook and access code affordability. So how can we make textbooks more affordable to students, whether that's through open book resources or things like the textbook exchange. which hopefully in the spring semester or next year will be a physical location where students can sell textbooks to other students, and USG will help facilitate that transaction. We work to improve experiential learning programs and technology and learning at the university. So looking at ways that we can have conversations with admin about student concerns and student issues that they face in their everyday lives. A big one, for an example, is international students working with different time zones currently. So we have a deputy director who's working on really making sure that we can provide a lot more support specifically for international students right now, due to undue extra stress from both ICE regulations as well as difficulties due to large time zone differences. So that may look like support in asynchronous classes, through student advocacy, so giving more resources for international students to advocate for themselves and so on. And then the last two are basically looking at how can we connect students more to advisors through the advisors dinner, and really making sure that students have access to more academic advisors on campus, as well as giving policy input into the general education reform that is hopefully still planning to go live in 2021. So yeah, so we work a lot across several different branches of the university. You get to meet a lot of really cool admin and faculty, and there's a sort of underlying tone under all of it of really trying to make sure that everyone at OSU has access to their full education, and that no matter what identities you hold, those identities can always empower you and they don't end up holding you back, and working to dismantle structures that might keep you from being able to fully experience your education at OSU. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Sri. All right, up next, I believe we have the Black Caucus with our chair, Oze, speaking. We'll take it away.
All right, hello everybody. My name is Osei Arigan. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. I am the chair of the undergraduate Black Caucus. As you can see on the slide, the Black Caucus was built on a foundation of social justice and advocacy. We exist as an organization on campus due to student protest. If you're familiar with the events that happened last school year, Black students organized and we created a body within USG because we were disproportionately not represented. And so now we have that representation. We aim to maintain a cohesive union between Black students, Black organizations, and the Black community as a whole. And we do that through various committees, whether that be our academic affairs, student experience, community relations, policy, and student engagement, community relations. So the work that we do, if you follow USG on Instagram, you'll see a lot of the initiatives and programming that we did this summer. We've done everything from providing graphics to inform students about protest safety if they were going to engage in physical protesting over the summer, to things like educational series. We did a 6-week documentary series educating students on the US prison system and giving them information on what prison abolition is. So we're providing students with both educational opportunities, health and safety opportunities, and also advocating for them on the policy side of things. So the Black Caucus is home to the one student undergraduate representative on the new Racial Justice Task Force for the university, and we plan to continue being a resource for administrators and staff who are trying to find out information about Black students on campus and how to best serve Black students on campus. And so we are existing to be a conduit for Black advocacy and excellence on campus. So if you're interested in advocating for and advancing the success of Black students here at Ohio State, we hope that the Black Caucus is a place where you can find your political and social home.
Thank you so much. And we just wanted to mention real quick, it was brought up to our attention that it's not really interactive to have all the cameras off. If you'd love to have your cameras on, you're willing and able to, please do. It'll definitely be better to see our potential new members' faces. Come on, it's a party, everyone can join. As we move on to the amazing Diversity and Inclusion Committee, let's have our representatives speak up for this.
All right, how are y'all doing? My name is Christian Nguyen. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm the director of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee in undergraduate student government. I'm gonna start by reading our mission statement. It's long and it's in process, so it's not perfect, but this is something that we've been working on over the summer, so I thought I'd share it with you all. So the mission of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee is to support and empower underrepresented and minoritized students by promoting justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion through brave and safe spaces for students to express their growth and advancement of their social identities, as well as voice disparities that they face at The Ohio State University. These spaces are created through respectful and mutual community engagement, celebrating and acknowledging differences, creating accessibility to university resources, and advocating for policy in the undergraduate student government that promotes resolutions to social justice issues in the interest of minoritized students. So that pretty much sums up what we stand for. I'm going to go ahead and move on to projects and initiatives. So firstly, the LGBTQ plus center. We're the only Big Ten school without a LGBTQ center on campus. So that's something that our CRs and our advocacy subcommittee, which if you're unfamiliar with USG's committees and subcommittees are like inside of the committee led by deputy directors. So that's something that we've been working on through policy and contacting OSU staff and things of that nature. The Diversity Summit is a huge event that we're planning, hopefully for like mid-autumn semester is what we're shooting for that. Probably is going to be over Zoom, but we're going to have speakers from inside the university and out come to talk at that event. We're also advocating to get international students peer leaders. If you are a first-year student who went to high school in the United States, you went through orientation where you had a peer leader. Unfortunately, international students don't get peer leaders and they're kind of on their own. So that's something that we've been working on, as well as making residence halls, more accessible, due to the fact that what by law is accessible for some people isn't accessible for all people. So that's something that we're policy that we're working towards as well. Also would like to expand religious accommodation when it comes to testing. So that's a continuation of a policy that we worked on last spring semester, I believe. And another event that we put on is Conversation You've Been Avoiding. That's where, for example, we have like OSU Dems and OSU Republicans like have a civil conversation, and that goes along with our Embrace the Difference our Embrace the Difference subcommittee that uses social media. If you're interested in using social media as a platform to advocate for social justice, that could be a thing that you might want to apply to. And also, real quick, I just want to address our potential name change and identity change to Justice and Equity. Basically, with this new mission, we not only want to make sure people are included, but people are empowered when they are included within USG. So that's something with my directorship that we are going to focus on, is not only who is in the room, but who has the power to raise their voice and speak in this room. So thank you for your time. And if you're interested in any of these projects or thought of any while I was talking, diversity and inclusion would love to have you apply.
Hello, everyone. My name is Destiny Brown. My pronouns are she, her. I hope you're having a great day. I have a little bit of Zoom fatigue. I'm sure you all do too. I'll be short and brief on what we're doing. Basically, our mission in GR is to empower the students at OSU to become civically engaged and advocate for their well-being through legislation on the local, state, and federal levels. So what that involves is voter advocacy. We can provide testimony on different pieces of legislation that we can either support or condemn. on either level of government, as well as some projects and initiatives. So Reg and the Res looks different. Traditionally, we will go and advocate for voter registration in residence halls. Due to COVID, we're going to try something different. This year, we're trying to get voter information on the OSU app, so stay tuned for that. And we're really excited about that. We also want to create a legislation tracker so that students can be more involved in understanding what pieces of legislation may affect them. And just overall, we have some advocacy trips that look different due to COVID, but I'm really excited for this year and the advocacy we can bring for this org. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, email me. I really want you to apply and be a part of the winning team. We're gonna have a lot of things going on this year, and I don't know, I hope to see a lot of you join.
Hey guys, I'm Lily and I'm the Director of Health and Safety for this year. So I'm also gonna be short and is to promote and support the physical and mental health and well-being in addition to the physical safety of every Buckeye through both policies and events. And this to me resonates so hard this year. Can you guys hear me? Okay, everybody was frozen. I don't know if you guys could hear me, but of course it was working well until I have to present. Anyways, so it's going okay. I'll just keep going. So some of our projects and initiatives, one of our biggest projects is Me Too Week, which we typically do the first week of November, but this year we moved it back a week because the election is that first week of November. So we just thought there should be a focus on that. Not that Me Too Week it's always important, but we just thought it'd be overshadowed, so we moved it. But it's gonna be really cool, and that week has to do with sexual assault awareness and education surrounding those issues. I also have, in relation to that, we work with the Title IX office very frequently. We have frequent meetings with the interim Title IX coordinator bi-weekly, and we talk about all kinds of things with her. We're working on several different graphics to put out there with survivor resources, and Destiny's committee is also putting out one that we've worked on a little bit too, on the policy changes related to the new Title IX regulations. And we have also recently finished our mental health resource sheet, which has a ton of mental health resources, both on campus and off campus. And those we recently got permission to put up in the residence halls. So that's a big update. And then we're working on getting those on the wellness app. So that'll be a huge next step. And then with the SLDS survey, we are working to figure out how students' accommodations are really going. A lot of students have told us that they're not receiving their accommodations, which is not okay. So we're sending out a survey mid-semester to see what is up with that and then going from there. And then lastly, the fentanyl testing strips. This is something that one of my deputies brought up that was really important to him, to try to get fentanyl testing strips in the Student Health Center. And that project is underway and we're making some progress. Dr. Anderson, who works in pharmacy at the Wills, really liked the idea, so that's really exciting. So those are just some different projects and initiatives we're working on. Obviously, working and brainstorming on some COVID stuff. In addition, like the COVID testing center graphic we're trying to put out there. So yeah, those are just some things we're working on. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions about my committee or just USG in general. I'd love to see you all apply. And yeah, I'm excited to see some of you this year.
Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me, first of all?
Fantastic. Okay. Hello, everyone. So my name's Caroline. I use she, her pronouns. I'm an English education and Spanish major, and I'm serving as the Director of Student Affairs for this year. So I'm just going to start with our mission statement, and then I'll talk a little bit about our committee structure and what that's going to look like this year. So our role and mission is to celebrate and empower fellow USG members and students to improve and embrace the student experience. So what you're probably thinking from this is that this mission statement is very vague and very general. And when creating this summer with myself and along with our leadership team, we wanted to embrace just like the vagueness and, you know, the differences in every single Buckeyes student experience. So this way, we have this vague and general mission statement. It gives us room to grow and change throughout the semester. And if you apply to USG and get in and find your home in student affairs, you can be a part of like creating what this mission and what this role in the organization and in the university is. So that's why it's set up like that. But to get into a little bit more of what our structure looks like as a committee, so I oversee 6 subcommittees in student affairs, and they are residence life and dining, off-campus, student resources, innovation, campus events and athletics. And then our last one is our policy subcommittee, which is more on the legislative branch in General Assembly. And so as you can see, just like with our projects and initiatives, we have a lot of things like falling under certain things. For example, the renter's guide, that goes under off-campus, and what it is, it's just basically like a booklet. It's not a booklet anymore because it's virtual, but it's like just a source of information for students looking to rent off campus. Just thinking of some off the top of my head with regards to COVID-19, because a lot of these projects are changing and evolving with our current state. Just recently, we are starting to do like town halls with Zia. He's the director of dining services, and he's amazing. And he's always so willing to meet with students. So we figured we would embrace that. And we're going to start having those throughout the fall semester, just so he can get student feedback, answer any questions and whatnot. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here, especially during the first week of classes. I understand that it can be very stressful and overwhelming, especially during this pandemic. So if you have any questions, my dot number is 58. I'd love to hear from all of you and just answer questions about student affairs or just USG as a whole. Thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joey. I'm one of the recruitment coordinators this year. I'm going to be filling in for Liz because she had something pop up today and she couldn't be here. So she just gave me a few things to read off to you guys about sustainability. But so the role and the mission for them is to achieve Ohio State sustainability goals. So some of those are energy efficiency and waste reduction. They also hope to enhance Buckeyes' understanding of different issues like climate change and habitat loss. They're also big advocates for environmental justice issues, specifically elevating BIPOC voices. That's really important to them, and that's something that she wanted me to mention. So last year, they also did an event where they invited an activist to talk about the North Dakota pipeline issues. They invited them to the environmental justice dinner that they had, which is just a bunch of dialogue about those kinds of issues. They also had the farmers market last year, which I helped out and actually went to, and I think that was a ton of fun. They had a bunch of different produce that you could buy and different things like that. And then one of the other things they had was the B Corporation Summit, where they just invited a bunch of companies to come and talk about their environmental things that they're working on. And then it's kind of like a networking event too, where people could talk to those companies and maybe even get like internships and those kinds of things. So sustainability does a lot of cool stuff. So definitely check it out. And then I'll talk a little bit about like how you can look more into these different branches and committees later. But definitely reach out to her. Her information is at the bottom if you have any questions. Thanks.
Hello, my name's Hannah Wright. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve as USG's Director of Community Relations. So unfortunately, this is a committee that you guys aren't able to join right off the bat, so I'll keep my introduction about our committee pretty brief. So essentially, community relations is the primary body within USG conducting outreach to students and student organizations. Obviously, as like the primary governing body on campus, it's really important that we are engaging with undergraduate students as much as possible. So like this a lot of different forms. First and foremost is constantly communicating with students and student organizations, then also holding events related to that, such as monthly forums or networking events for both like student organizations and giving them a chance to network with USG. So the really important thing is that even beyond if you decide maybe USG isn't the right fit for you at this time, or if it doesn't work, or if you have other questions about it, or you want to get involved in a different capacity, feel free to reach out to me. I am bright.2162, and I will help you get connected with USG as a whole in any way that helps you. Thank you.
Hey everyone, as I said earlier, my name's Sophie Rottenberg. I use she, her pronouns, and I am currently a senior here studying public affairs and real estate. So I am serving as the Director of Internal Operations this year, which is so exciting, but essentially it's just kind of a fancy way of saying that I really work to handle membership, recruitment, logistics, and kind of the entire internal culture of the organization. So essentially what that's going to look like this year is an environment in which we really work to build our members up and stay in touch with the current difficulties of what's going on at our school and in the world right now. When it comes to membership, professional development, logistics, everything like that, my role is to really make sure that we're looking deep into the internal structure of our organization to not only work to point out inequities in all of these, but also to really make an effort to ensure that acceptance is tolerated and instances of bigotry and stuff like that is not tolerated in this organization. So when you're thinking of applying to USG and going through the new membership process, that is of the utmost importance to keep in mind. So with that being said, essentially the recruitment process is kind of what you started here tonight, and then the new membership process is the next thing that you would take part of if you get into USG. Joey and Jillian, if you want to just say hey really fast, those are the two internal operations recruitment coordinators. Awesome. But with that being said, if you have any questions, my dot number is .7. And with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to the representative from Strategic Communications.
Can I actually hop back in real quick? I'm so sorry. I forgot to give my wonderful recruitment coordinators, Witcher could not be with us tonight. Unfortunately, she had class, but I want to give Jack a chance to introduce himself.
Everyone, my name is Jack. I'm a second year. I'm a recruitment coordinator. Please reach out if you have any questions. Haney.222. Thank you.
All right, so for the next part, we're moving to strategic communication. So again, my name is Jacob. I'm the Senior Director of Operations, so I'm in charge of all the operation committees. So sadly, our Senior Director of Strategic Communication wasn't be able to come to our session today. His name is Richard Jang, and if you want to reach out to him, his cell number is 19, and you can find him his cell number down there on this PowerPoint. So basically, strategic communication essentially is a team that produces graphics and communication files and all the documents for our organization. So you'll be seeing infographics and also our recruitment videos and everything going on our social medias. They're all produced by the Stratcom team. At the same time, they have coordinators working closely, and Richie himself working closely with Roy and Caleb, our president and vice president, help them draft out different statements and connect with the student body. But all these operation committees are not for first year to apply. That's why you didn't see it from the application form. But once if you are in USG for 1 year, have more institutional knowledge about our organization, you will be able to apply for these committees and join to support our organizational functioning and outreach. Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Maddie Carson. I use she, her pronouns, and I am an industrial and systems engineering major at Ohio State. And in USG, I serve as the chair of the undergraduate caucus, where I get to oversee a branch in USG called shared governance. And essentially shared governance is where students, faculty, staff, and administrators get to share their governances together and get to work together on various current issues facing the university. So it's really a pleasure getting to it's really a pleasure getting to oversee and see all this taking place. But really, shared governance is unlike no other at any other university. It's something that many universities actually try to model after Ohio State, because this is where students get to have an equal vote and an equal say in meetings with various administrators. I oversee something called University Senate. It's where the university president gets to chair, and it's where various representatives from USG get to sit and vote on various issues and policies relating to the university. But something, even though new members can't directly join right away, this is something that you can utilize with your various projects and your issue committees that we can then try and get to hopefully be voted on in University Senate. So please let me know if you have any questions about getting involved. Even though maybe you can't get involved directly, I'm sure there's other opportunities that I would love to talk to you about. So.
Hi, everybody. So like I said, my name is Joey Orcheza. I'm one of the recruitment coordinators this year. So at this point, you're probably wondering how you can actually apply for USG. So I'm going to run through those different parts for this year. They're a little bit different than previous years. So if you've applied before, just be sure to look out for these things. So the first part is to attend our general info session, which you're already at. So that's good. And then the next thing is that we have an encourage, it's optional networking event. We're having one this Saturday at 10 a.m. and then we're also having one Sunday at 7 p.m. All of our links are in our link tree that'll be on the next slide in case you haven't gotten a chance to look at it, but you'll be able to join through there. And then the next part of the process is to watch at least 4 out of our 7 pre-recorded videos on our branches and committees. So they already kind of talked to you a little bit today about what they do, but we have a little bit more in-depth videos that are about 15 minutes each. And you'll have to watch at least 4 of those to kind of get a good sense of maybe which one you'd want to join if you were admitted into USG. And then the last part is just to fill out our application. So there's some different pieces to it. The first part is some general information, your name, your major, maybe your involvements in organizations that you're a part of. Those don't actually count for your application. We won't be looking at that, but that's just to help us out with our outreach efforts. And then the next part is that we have 5 essay questions. They're relatively short, about 250 words each. But one of the examples, I guess, could be we have a question about JEDI goals. So JEDI stands for Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. All those are very important to us. So you're going to want to take a look at those questions and answer all of those. And then there's going to be a section where you have to verify that you attend all the required events. So those information sessions. So the password for this information session is Sophie. I don't know if you want to pop on the screen again, but she's our IO director. So she's above me and she helps us all out with the internal operations stuff. So you're going to want to put her name in for the password of this session. And then the last part is our branch and committee ranking system. So at the end, you'll be able to rank all of our 7 branches and committees in the order that you would like to be in them if you were to be admitted into USG. And then we'll take them into account if you get in. Most likely, you'll probably be in like your top 2 or 3. So yeah, you're definitely going to have to fill out all this kind of stuff. If you have any questions, we have our link, and then we have our email on the next slide if Jillian wants to talk about that. Thanks.
Thank you, Joey. Hi again, I'm Jillian. I use she, her pronouns. My dot number is right under my name. It's 0.28 Finkel, Finkel, .28. My biggest mission as a recruitment coordinator in internal operations with Joey is to make myself as accessible to y'all as possible. I'm so excited to be able to talk to you guys not only right now, but again in the networking event and basically throughout this entire process. The interpersonal side of this is what I love to do the most. So I'm super, super excited about that. On the slide right now, application's live until the 6th at midnight, so you can do that like nice 11:58 submission if you want to, because that's what I do. The go.osu.edu/apply USG 2020 link is basically just the master links of basically everything you're going to need to apply to USG. So all the links to the general info sessions where you probably got this link, the networking event, and the proper application as well, in addition to the videos you can watch for our branches and issues committees. So with that being said, right below that is USG interest form. So kind of like the interest form, like a little paper that you would fill out at like a booth if we were recruiting to you right now, just to let us know that you want to receive more information and emails about applying to USG. And if you have any more questions, like I said, please email me or Joey or Jacob or any of the amazing people you see on your screen who have been talking a lot right now. And at the bottom is the SL USG recruitment email, which is where any of us could answer. So any of the recruitment people you've just met, I'll have access to that email in case you want to send it to one standardized place. If you want more personalized communication, message me, text me, email me. I'm really excited to get to meet everybody. And that's that from me. And next we're gonna hear about some membership requirements in case you get in.
Awesome. So I can hop back in here when it comes to the membership requirements. So essentially this, as Jillian said, is just the process that you'll go through to really become further integrated into the organization, get to know the members, and really just learn kind of what USG is all about, and hopefully get a little bit more insight into maybe some of the aspects of it you're passionate about. So with that being said, you will attend 2 new member education sessions. So that's just essentially an education session about USG. One will be towards the beginning and one will be more in the middle of the semester, just to kind of break up your experience. I'm sure as you join your issue committee and get involved in projects, questions will come up, which is why we wanted to break them up. And then you will also attend the USG Passport program, which will happen probably sometime in October. And essentially what this is fun virtual meetings where you'll get to meet some of the members of USG leadership and just kind of pick their brain regarding, their experiences and any advice that they may have. And then also attending weekly cabinet meetings and your subsequent branch/committee breakout meeting will also be very important. And that will be via Zoom and Tuesdays from 6 to 8. So I know that there are quite a few commitments on campus, PSL being one of them that also has meetings Tuesday nights. There have been plenty of USG members who have been in PSL and other organizations that also have meetings on Tuesday nights. So you are definitely not short in terms of people to ask advice on, and it's also totally possible and manageable to do. And then the next aspect is you will complete a series of online trainings. And essentially what those are, we haven't completely solidified them yet, as a lot of formats have changed because things are virtual, and we're really looking for feedback from last year's trainings for our members. But a lot of those online trainings, again, just kind of go back to that internal operations idea of USG that I was talking about before, that really lends itself to solidifying a sense of equity and inclusion that truly goes beyond acceptance. That's really about inclusion and equity and interacting and working alongside your fellow USG members. While, as I mentioned before, that levels of hatred and bigotry are not tolerated in this organization, all of our members can obviously continue to learn more, and that's why those trainings are so exciting and helpful.
Thank you guys so much. We acknowledge that it's now 8:21, so 8:30 is coming up pretty quickly. We know you have busy lives. We want to respect your time. Thank you so much for being here so far. We're about to move into the Q&A portion, which is my most favorite part, because we get to answer your questions directly. So we can do this any way y'all like. If you feel more comfortable kind of doing it a little bit more privately, sending it to one of us, then we can kind of answer it out loud. Totally do that. Drop it in the main chat. Or you can kind of just unmute, be like, hey, quick question, and hopefully not like 10 people start talking at once, but that shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, anyway, you guys want to ask some questions, on the screen right now is just some of our social media links that you can follow. The QR codes do work, which is pretty fun. The USG website, Twitter, and Instagram, it's gonna be right there. But yeah, if you guys are ready, let's move into the Q&A. And I already had a first question. Will these slides be available for us to look at again later? Yeah, we actually record these sessions as you guys got the notification for at the beginning of this meeting. Those will be up soon. If you really want it immediately because you're working on your application, you just want to have it in front of you, feel free to private message me your dot number and I will try my very best to send it to you. But yes, Q&A time. All right.
As we're waiting for more answers, I just want to emphasize that as the student government, we're not you regular high school student government. We don't just hold events. We do a lot of advocacy, mentorship development, and we're not a law group. I just want to emphasize that. When I was a freshman at pop up at Ohio State, it was an interesting experience to join USG and feel that I'm enjoying the student government. But here I find my empowerment and a lot of uplifting to my personal experience essentially helped me become who I am today, with everything and everyone I met in this organization. So feel free to ask us anything about our personal experience experience, why did we choose to join USG? Like why we think USG's involvement we want to dedicate our college time to, or like what is like the best experience we had in USG, and any questions like that we'll be able to answer that too. So it's not like only limited to our application, because those are the information we'll be providing to you through our PowerPoints. Yeah.
I know somebody has to have a question. Someone please. And we can also do like a breakout room if you want to have more of like a one-on-one experience too with your questions.
Yeah, I kind of have a question. Like on average, like how many hours do you sit like per week would you end up working on it? Like besides like the Tuesday night meetings?
Jack, do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, so I think if USG is kind of an organization where you get out of it what you give to it. So at any given time, you might have to step back and focus more on your schoolwork or other commitments. So you'll be spending less time. There might be a couple weeks here and there where you're more committed to a project that you'll be doing some more work. So it really does come down to what you're willing to give, how much time you have, that sort of thing.
Thank you.
I think if you had to put like a number on it too, outside of like our 2-hour meeting on Tuesdays, I would say that probably my first year, the weeks that I had like a lot going on with my projects, maybe like 3 hours, 4 hours. And then the times that I didn't have too much going on, maybe like 1 or 2 hours here and there to help people out. But like Jack was saying, it kind of depends on if you want to go out of your way to either help people out with their events or if you're really busy with your projects and policy. But the thing that I like is that it's kind of different than high school student government, where you had set times, maybe after the school day, you had to stay after until 3, 4, 5 o'clock or whatever. A lot of it now is virtual and you can do it at your own pace as long as you meet your deadlines and stuff. So it's pretty flexible, and obviously school comes first. So we're definitely understanding if you have like a busy week or even a busy semester or whatever that might be.
Yeah, just to bounce off of what Joey said, one of my favorite philosophies to really live by in USG is that you are a human first, a family member, friend second, and then student, and then you are a member of USG. So, personally to me, as somebody who is so heavily involved in the internal vibe and culture of the organization, my most important value within student government is to take care of yourself, because you can't do your best work if you're not feeling your best. So if it comes to, having to miss a cabinet because something came up, or let's say you volunteered for an event and suddenly you just have so much schoolwork, it's totally fine. We understand, we're students too.
Hi, I just have a clarifying question. So if I'm accepted to USG, how many committees do I become a part of? Is it just one?
Hi, yes, you'll be part of one of the committees or branches that you ranked. So you'll be part of just that one. But if you find that you're not really finding your place in that committee, I definitely recommend giving it a shot, because a lot of them have amazing work you can be doing. All of them have amazing work you can be doing. But if you ever feel like, I kind of want to try this one that I ranked a little bit ago, communicating with directors, deputies, collaborating on projects, doing what you can to kind of just feel around the USG world. There's so much you can get involved in, but when you first enter as a committee representative, you'll be a committee representative or committee member for one of the branches or committees.
Thank you so much.
I can actually answer the question that Jenna just asked in the chat regarding like classes. So I actually used to have the class that had finals during USG, and when I was a deputy director, one of my CRs also had a class that ran over that time. I would say like still apply, and you can still be very involved. You just have to like take the time to like basically have those meetings with your like director and your deputy directors, which will make more sense once you like see a little bit more of the structure. But it's definitely like very possible, and obviously like your schedule will change like every semester, and like you'll have different free times. But I wouldn't let like your schedule right now hinder anything, because especially with everything being on Zoom, like there'll be recordings to go back towards, and then all of the deputies are students too, so we all understand when other commitments come up.
Also, to build off of that, you can also, like, next semester, if you do apply and you do get in, you can make your schedule to where you don't have classes and block that off. So don't let one semester of not being able to attend cabinet in live instead of like a recording or like following up with a director or a branch leader. So just make sure you don't let that limit you. You should still apply.
All right, any other questions?
These are great questions so far. And like we said, we all have our emails in the chat somewhere, sometimes multiple times, because we keep, like, we just want to encourage that we really want you to talk to us. Like, if you don't feel comfortable doing it in this space, it makes complete sense. We have our email, we have all of our individual emails, and we're going to keep saying it until you get tired of hearing it. But we really do want to talk to you so badly. So if you have any more questions at any other point, we are approaching 8:30 very quickly. We're going to hang around for a few more minutes after the 8:30 mark, just in case you have like a sneaky question you want to sneak in the end. But if not, thank you guys so much for being here. It's been a pleasure. Yeah, Joey just said reach out to that email in case something else comes up later. You're like, oh, I actually have a question. Diversity and inclusion email, amazing. Yeah, so just drop whatever you want in the chat. And like I was saying in the chat earlier, any other directors or representatives who want to answer any of the questions we've already had, please feel free to jump in. We want anybody to be able to join this conversation. Thanks, guys.